We've got isolation facilities in London that are ready to go. We also have isolation units in other parts of the country that can be brought into action if it's necessary. But at this stage, with the scale of the risk, the facilities that we've got, the trained staff with a lot of expertise in this sort of area, we are ready at this stage should anyone enter the UK and then subsequently be diagnosed with Ebola. The reality is that the risk of somebody coming in is very, very small, somebody with Ebola entering the country. Particularly the risk of somebody entering the country who has symptoms of disease is incredibly small. We're talking about a situation where it will be one individual, possibly two over an extended period of time as long as this outbreak occurs. So that would be a huge amount of resources put in place for a very small risk, a very small likelihood that can be picked up. Really the key thing here is to provide information to people so that they know what to look for and can go and get assistance as soon as they have the first signs of any sort of infection or if they've come from a risk area. It wouldn't be effective really because in the first stages of the infection, well, there's two things. The first thing is that the incubation period extends up to 21 days. So if somebody comes in who has Ebola, they could carry that for many days before they present with any symptoms. The chances of them having symptoms while travelling are very, very small. So we wouldn't catch them at the airport. The second thing is that the initial symptoms, which is if they exhibited anything is what they'd exhibit, are so general, it's elevated temperature, headaches and so on, that actually on any average flight there's going to be a proportion of people who feel like that anyway. So it would just take a huge amount of resource to check and follow up and try to respond to this. And it really it's unnecessary on the basis of the risk at the moment. Well, going on the basis of what we know and we've seen with other epidemics, what we want to see is a slowdown in the frequency of the infections, the number of people infected. It will then, because of the incubation period being so long, it will take a long time for the epidemic to roll out to ultimately end. And in the latter stages, we would expect to see just sporadic cases here and there as the final stage of the infection. But given the frequency at the moment, that's going to take many, many months before we see it come to an end, assuming that the situation is brought under slightly better control than we appear to have at the moment.